Today, we are talking about life insurance in the last frontier, when you are standing knee-deep in a frozen creek bed, miles from civilization. Your follower count does not matter. All that matters is the piece of steel in your hands and the brass in your chamber. In Alaska, a gear failure does not just ruin a weekend hunting trip. It puts you at the absolute bottom of the food chain. I have run drills in freezing rain where my hands were completely numb, and that is exactly when you learn what trust really means in a weapon system. Your bolt has to unlock, your primer has to ignite, and your projectile must smash through heavy bone and dense muscle mass without deflecting. Today, we are looking at the 5 heaviest hitters that seasoned outdoorsmen and backcountry guides stake their very lives on. We will evaluate these based on pure kinetic energy, mechanical reliability in sub-zero temperatures, shootability under extreme physical stress, and logistical availability. Let's dive right into the countdown. Number 5. The 4570 Government, starting us off at the number 5 spot, is the undisputed heavyweight brawler. I am talking about the 4570 Government. This is not some high-speed, low-drag precision rifle round. This is a close-quarters wrecking ball since the 1870s. This cartridge has been anchoring massive game across the North American continent. Typically, you are launching absolutely massive pieces of lead. We are talking 250-grain projectiles all the way up to 500-grain flying ashtrays. The sweet spot for most backcountry defense loads is right around 325 to 405 grains. When I run a lever-action chambered in 4570, it usually features a short 18 to 22-inch barrel, weighing in at roughly 7 to 8.5 pounds. These rifles swing incredibly fast when you are tangled up in thick brush or alder patches. This is a purpose-built, 100 to 200-yard emergency tool. The real magic of the 4570 in sub-zero temperatures is the case design itself. Because it is a straight-walled case running at relatively low chamber pressures, it extracts violently and reliably. Even if your action is caked in ice and grit, you can manually cycle that lever and get immediately back in the fight. It will absolutely stop a charging brown bear dead in its tracks if you do your part. However, you cannot ignore physics. The recoil is going to jar your teeth, and the bullet trajectory drops like a cinder block at a distance. Plus, practicing with this beast is not cheap. You are burning anywhere from $2.50 to $4.50 per squeeze. But when a massive predator is closing the distance fast, cost goes right out the window. Number 4. The 30-06 Springfield, rolling into the number 4 position, is the absolute cornerstone of American hunting culture. The legendary 30-06 Springfield. If you want the textbook definition of versatility, this is the picture in the dictionary. You can load this workhorse with light 125-grain projectiles for thin-skinned game, or you can step it up to 220-grain thumpers when you are hunting coastal black bear. Most standard bolt-action rifles chambered in 30-06 feature 22 to 24-inch barrels. Once you throw an optic on there, you are usually sitting at a very comfortable 8 to 9 pounds. That makes it incredibly manageable to carry for days on end, and more importantly, highly forgiving on your shoulder. If you know your ballistics and have your holdovers dialed in, taking a shot out to 400 or even 600 yards is absolutely doable. Up in the bitter cold, the 30-06 Springfield is relentlessly dependable. It operates at moderate chamber pressures, meaning you rarely see cold, weather pressure spikes, or stuck brass. And let us talk about logistics for a second. You can literally walk into any hardware store or mom and pop gas station in the middle of nowhere and find a box of ammo. Because the recoil impulse is so manageable, you can actually put in the range time necessary to build real proficiency without developing a flinch. Training ammo is heavily available, running about $1.20 to $2.50 a round. The only real limitation here is extreme terminal performance. If a 900-pound grizzly decides you are a threat, the 30-06 lacks the bone, crushing sledgehammer effect of the true heavy magnums. But as a general-purpose survival rifle, it is the absolute yardstick we measure everything else against. Number 3. The 300 Winchester Magnum, stepping up to the number 3 spot. We have the precision instrument of the bunch, the 300 Winchester Magnum. When the terrain opens up and you need to bridge a massive gap across a frozen valley, this is the caliber you want in your hands. This cartridge is engineered to shoot laser flat and deliver massive kinetic energy way down range. I usually recommend running 150 to 180 grain bonded bullets for most applications, although you can certainly bump that payload up to 200 grains if you need deeper penetration on heavy muscle. Rifles chambered in this Magnum typically sport longer 24 to 26-inch barrels. You are going to see overall weights hovering in the 9 to 10-pound range. You absolutely need that physical mass to soak up the recoil impulse and keep your crosshairs steady on target after the shot breaks. This cartridge dominates the 500 to 800-yard engagement envelope. If you are glassing caribou across the open tundra, the .300 Winchester Magnum takes a lot of the guesswork out of your wind calls. Mechanically speaking, the belted Magnum case design provides a very positive headspace. Combined with a heavy powder charge, you get guaranteed positive ignition, even when the temperature plummets well below zero. But that ballistic dominance comes with a serious tax. The recoil is incredibly sharp and fast. It will snap your shoulder back, and if your shooting fundamentals are sloppy, it will let you know immediately. Ammunition is going to set you back about $2.50 to $4 per round. But for the marksman who demands extreme long-range lethality, this is an apex predator. Number 2. The .338 Winchester Magnum. Taking the silver medal at number 2 is the seasoned professional's choice. The .338 Winchester Magnum. If you talk to the hardened Alaskan guides who are tasked with keeping their clients breathing, this is exactly what they carry into the bush. It perfectly bridges the gap between blistering velocity and massive bullet weight. Since 1958, this round has been solving catastrophic problems in the wild. You are sending 200 to 250 grain projectiles downrange with absolute malice. It delivers a terminal shockwave that completely eclipses the entire .30 caliber family. A proper rifle setup for the .338 Winchester Magnum is going to feature a heavy 24-inch barrel. Total weight will sit right around 9 to 10.5 pounds. It is a heavy, incredibly stable platform that feels grounded in your shoulder pocket. You can easily engage targets from 400 to 700 yards. But when that heavy projectile makes impact, the energy transfer is simply devastating. When you are dealing with snow, ice, and unpredictable weather, this cartridge is an absolute tank. Because the bullet has such high sectional density and momentum, it ignores heavy crosswinds. More importantly, it drives straight through thick matted fur, heavy shoulder bones, and dense tissue to destroy the central nervous system. When you pull the trigger on a .338 Winchester Magnum, your confidence level is unparalleled. You know for a fact that the threat is going down. The downsides, the recoil is punishing on the shooter. Carrying a heavy rifle up the side of a mountain all day is going to smoke your legs. And factory ammunition runs a steep $3.50 to $6 per trigger pull. But you are paying for guaranteed performance when your life is on the line. Number 1. The .375 H&H Magnum finally. Claiming the number 1 spot on our list is the undisputed king of dangerous game. The .375 H&H Magnum. This is not just another caliber. It is a historical icon. It earned its flawless reputation by keeping hunters alive in the most hostile environments on the planet for over a century. Born in 1912, this is the ultimate insurance policy when you are entirely on your own. We are talking about launching colossal 270 to 300 grain monolithic or bonded bullets. Rifles built for this cartridge are machined like military hardware. You will see 24 to 25-inch barrels, with total weights climbing from 9.5 to 11 pounds. That serious weight is mandatory to tame the recoil and allow you to recover your sight picture fast for a follow-up shot. Inside of 300 to 500 yards, it is simply a sledgehammer. It provides a lethal combination of close-quarters knockdown power and mid-range accuracy that nothing else can truly match. But the real reason it takes the crown for Alaskan survival comes down to the brass geometry. The .375 H&H Magnum features a highly tapered case design. This means the split second that bolt unlocks, the brass is completely free from the chamber walls. Whether your gun is filled with freezing rain, glacial silt, or pine needles, this round feeds and extracts smoother than anything else on the modern market. When a 1,000-pound apex predator is bearing down on you, that mechanical reliability is absolute. Now, the recoil is massive, but it is a slow, heavy shove rather than a sharp punch. Many experienced shooters actually prefer this smooth recoil impulse over the violent snap of the faster Magnums. Is it cheap to run? Not a chance. You are looking at $4.50 to $8 every time you cycle the bolt, and hauling an 11-pound rifle through the thick brush is exhausting. But when failure means you do not make it home, this is the only logical choice. At the end of the day, guys, selecting a backcountry rifle is not a popularity contest. It is not about arguing ballistic coefficient data in the internet forums. It is about unwavering trust in your equipment when the weather turns violent and the stakes are life and death. Every single one of these weapon systems has proven itself in the unforgiving Alaskan wilderness. Whether you lean toward the everyday versatility of the .30-06 Springfield or the heavy-hitting authority of the .375 H&H Magnum, you need to pick the platform you can run flawlessly under extreme stress. I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments. If a bush plane dropped you off in the Brooks Range tomorrow with only one rifle, what are you bringing? Did I leave your go to caliber off the list? Drop your loadout in the comments section below. If you appreciated this tactical breakdown, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you do not miss our upcoming deep dives into defensive firearms and survival gear. Until next time, train hard, stay safe, and I will see you on the range.